Alright, hello again everyone. This is Brandon again. It's January 31st. I'm doing another developer update on Soracca. A lot has changed since the last time that I did one of these, so much so that I actually need to go back and refresh myself on what exactly I showed you and what I didn't. Major updates are, let's start with the enemies. Well, I'll just start up the game and go from there. So I'm work in progress on the title screen right now, but I just needed the framework of it made. You can enter in your name and that will become relevant later. And don't worry about those debug messages. Also, don't worry about the pile of bullets in this room. I'm going to go look at some enemies. So we're going to pick up this. I showed off the revolver last time. Now we have the shotgun as well. It's the only other real weapon in the game. Going to be pretty tough to get to, and its ammo will be less plentiful, but it is vastly more powerful. Ignore this. So the newest enemy, I believe last time I showed off the rock ghoul and the Shoggoth. The Shoggoth has a actual sprite now, and I can show that in a minute, but the newest enemy is the Iake. And what they do is when you walk in front of these windows, they'll be a lot smaller once I actually get around to designing windows that don't look like baby's first Minecraft texture. What they do is they fly by windows and crash through them on occasion, and then they chase you from room to room, just as any other enemy does. And you can shoot them down. The thing with these guys is that if you They take 2 bullets just like the rock ghoul does, but if you shoot them once, like with the revolver, they will get a lot faster, and you need to shoot them again before they eventually latch onto your face and kill you. And speaking of death, right now it resets the game, but it does a little more than that too. As you can see, the save function works. There is this thing, maybe I should just go down. It has not been recording that this entire time. Whoops. Let's do that. Alright. So I got some questions about what that thing up in the top right of the UI is. That'll become more relevant later once there's actually a sprite up there, but it's going to be a Doom style face that represents health and overall well-being of the main character. And yeah, the more you die, like every time you die, it's going to reset the game. And the more you die, the more worn down your character is going to get, the more glitchy the game is going to look. You might be able to see it, kinda. There are these sort of black line things that shoot across the screen every now and then. And that's sort of represent a sort of descent. Alright, so you can see this is where we died last time. Now there's a blood spot on the ground. Those get saved as soon as you die. So if I die again here, load up the game, and walk back to there, or I can just press B and demonstrate the same thing. Ooh, that's not what I wanted. Didn't want that. Want to load, not new. We'll go ahead and pick up the shotgun just because the shotgun is way cooler. Shotgun has a maximum of 12 bullets. The revolver has a maximum of 6. But you can see there's another blood spot here. Now there's more flickery stuff on the screen. I want to go more drastic with that later, but I'll have to do some playtesting to see whether or not it's distracting. And that circle up in the top right has gotten a little bit smaller. That's probably going to be one of the last things I implement just because it's a lot of sprite work. So yeah, that's one of the enemies. The other enemy that I've made so far is the Star Vampire, and it's not really that interesting to look at right now. It's going to be a pretty rare enemy that only shows up when the player is outside. But basically it's invisible most of the time. It just wanders towards the player. It plays a sound the closer it gets. Not really all that fancy, but it is kind of massive and should be somewhat shocking when the player is killed by it. Right now I am just going through the normal motions. You can see there's a lot more animations. Obviously the player now has a sprite. And he has like use animations. I'm just going through all of the basic stuff right now to get the pieces necessary for one of the puzzles, because all the puzzles are in the game now, in more or less the same state that they will be in once the game is finished, just not as polished. And you can see the shotgun has a spread. It's like the revolver also has a spread, but it's much tighter. You're not really going to notice it's more of an aesthetic thing. But the shotgun, if you're too far back, it actually can be a major problem, depending on what you're trying to hit. So I believe last time I mentioned that these books are relevant. And they're relevant for this library puzzle here. Let's dig up the last one. So you got 4 books, 4 places to put them in. If you put, the moment you put one in, the door locks behind you. That's just to save me from data management nightmares. We'd be locked in this room when that happens. Obviously I didn't put them in the right order, so the gate up at the top didn't open. And each of these books has a line from Casilda's song from the play The King in Yellow. If you put them in the proper order, being 1, 2, 3, 4, left, right, top to bottom, it will open up the gate, and then it is permanently solved. So once you do that, you'll never have to solve that puzzle again. Let's hope that we don't get killed on our way to the next puzzle. Through here, all right. So this is the next puzzle. Again, functional, but really ugly. There will be different sort of arcane signs on the ground. It's probably going to be a bit bigger than it is right now. And by pressing these switches on the wall, you change their state. It has 6 possible states, and you need to figure out what the correct pattern is. So right now the correct pattern is make an eye out of the cyan ones, and then it changes to this permanently to show that it's been completed. The last puzzle I'm just going to kill myself to get to. Okay. Is this. And this is a safe. You're supposed to input a code here. Oh, and I, whoops, forgot to turn off some stuff. I'll get into more detail on that one later. Just know that it functions right now. So there's been a lot of back-end work on like how data is saved. I'm really proud of my progress on this, especially because I just had to learn what DS maps are and teach myself how to do it. And it's certainly not the prettiest code in the world, but it works for my purposes. Started using enums and other state management data structures. Let's see what else. What other major things have been accomplished? I guess I'll show you the sprites. So this is my first iteration on the Shoggoth. People have told me that he looks kind of like a vine flower beast, which I might be okay with that. I might change that in the future. I also tried a version that doesn't have any sort of coloration to it, and I personally like this better, but I do think it's a little bit less less pretty. And of course it animates. We've got the Iake over here. He doesn't animate quite yet, but he has front, back, and side views just because he's a small sprite that moves pretty quickly. I'm not going to do the same thing with the Shoggoth and cool. Just because it doesn't really matter what way they're facing. I might do a front-facing sprite for the Shogoth. Just because he looks a little strange, just sliding straight down. And then there is the Star Vampire. This is what he looks like when I made him, but most of the time he is invisible and kind of just fades in and out. I don't even know how well that's showing up. Yeah, barely. But it is supposed to be mostly invisible. Yeah, lots of script writing, some optimization stuff. I made a couple shaders. Oh, the Ambrosia actually has functionality now. Guess I can show that. So you pick it up, and when you, so this is your normal walking speed. I'm going to go out somewhere that's a little bit bigger. This is your normal walking speed. You use it, and you become much faster. You got that neat little shader effect where he's glowing, and then you're back to slow. One-time use item, kind of a get-out-of-jail-free card against an enemy if they're getting a little bit too close. The ash, the powder, is also in. The only item that doesn't have functionality yet is the flashlight, and that's because I need a room to actually test that in. I've done it before, so I know how I'm going to do it. It's not going to take me long. So yeah, that's the ash. Right now it doesn't actually do anything, but now it has an ammo bar displayed, whereas before it didn't. And its ammo bar looks drastically different from the other stuff. Just for comparison. So the revolver has bolts, this one has just like a meter. But yeah, that's it. It's a lot of new features and a lot of polish. I feel like it's been a long time since I did one of these updates, but I think looking at the, where is it? Yeah, looking at my channel, it looks like I only did one of these updates 2 weeks ago. I thought it had been longer than that. I've been working on this since about the start of the year. I think this is pretty good for a month's worth of progress. I'm just about ready to move on to actually building the house that the game takes place in. I'm just crossing something off my list here. Yeah, getting into the house that the game takes place in and actually drawing out all of the artwork for that, because I know that that's going to take a really long time. I'm looking forward to it, but it's kind of a daunting task. Given just how big the house is. I think in total it's like 40 some rooms. Yeah, I think that's about it. 40 some rooms. And I've decided I want to do some sort of like good ending type run. Like it's something that's really hard to do. It's going to require a little bit of extra content, but not too much in the way of extra programming work. So that's good. I'll be able to start moving into my my regular comfort zone. But yeah, that about covers it. Puzzles, monsters, backend, general polish. And I'll see you guys next time.